Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
The Reef is a two-player board game in the Kosmos two-player line. A very famous line and perhaps the best two-player line ever released. Some of the games were better than others. I'd say the Reef is somewhere in the middle or above average, if you will. It does give you tight decisions. You only have 5 reefs you could put babies in, and babies in essence are points. And you really have to be strategic about what cards you're taking on. Those cards and the dice rolling of the worms, and you have to be careful about what you have because there are limits to everything in this game, and you want to maximize those points. So it's not just give me everything. I have to actually make decisions about what I want to take on and how I want those. There is some luck in the dice rolling, of course, in the gaining of those worms, but that is going to push the game along as you go and just kind of know that it's been infused into this game. It's not a totally strategic game. I don't expect it to be with the time frame and the number of players, and I'm fine with that. And I think it works fine in this game. This is not in the elite of the games in the series, but I think that it is one that a lot of people have missed out on. If you like the fish theme and the idea of scoring points in the reef and getting those worms, and those worms are going to translate into babies, which are points, a little bit of an engine thing going on here, just a tad bit, that you'll find some real pleasure in when you're playing through this game. I think the theme works fine. I don't think it's going to be the overly thematic game, but I think it works in what you're trying to accomplish in this game, especially that tug back and forth with the two-player experience. For us, a very fun game, one we'll be keeping in our collection, and it's a keeper. Here's the Reef. This is a two-player game from Kosmos. You can see that it comes in a little small box with some fish that have teeth. You don't see that very often, do you? And when you look inside, you're going to see these square cards. And these are a little thin, but they have animals and fish. You can see there's female and male fish here. This artwork is just atrocious. It looks like something nowadays that would just be printed on maybe MS Paint or something. Then you'll have these, which will be the little babies. They always come in threes, and you're supposed to just see the different colors on them, etc. You're going to have 2 of these kind of like wooden dice with just colors on the side. These are okay, not too bad. Then any number of these worms, all the worms pretty much, the artwork's a little bit different on them. They have smiley faces or whatever, but the only thing you have to worry about is the color of them. The insert's not too bad. You see the little square spots here, and this is kind of nice. You can just pull these out as you're playing the game. You have the place for the dice. So overall, okay, the card's a little bit thinner than I would like. These are kind of generic, I guess, but it's a time period thing here. So what we're trying to do in this game is you will be getting these reef cards. And when you have these reef cards, you have to put the fish in here. In this case, I have a purple and a green, 1 male and 1 female, and they will be able to produce one of these babies that will be over here, so you can kind of see what's happening. When you have the baby, you will discard these cards, and your baby will sit here. Now, you can have a maximum of 5 reef cards, 1 for each baby. Once you get to 5 babies, you are the winner of the game. So what you're going to do on a turn is you're going to roll the dice. And then you will take, if you're the person who rolled the dice, you will take a worm of each of those colors. Now I have an orange and green worm because I rolled that. And then the opponent may take an orange or a green. So they would get one of the colors, but not both. So maybe they would just take the green one because that's the color they want. And that's what you would have here. Where your boat is at, you can take the cards that are here. Any card that's on your side will cost 1 worm. If it's in the middle, you can cost 2 worms, and if it's over here, it will be 3. So I could spend a worm maybe to flip this over, then I could spend another worm to take the reef. That is so what I wanted, and that would be an option for me to do. Now, I can only take fish on the board if I have a reef. Now I have a reef, I can put a fish in a location. So let's say later on in the game, maybe this fish was right here. I could give up, and I had my worms back, I could give up a worm. I cannot give up an orange worm to grab a green fish. No, of course not. I would need a green worm in order to take a green fish, and I would put this fish right here in my reef, showcasing that it lives there. What I'm trying to do is find the color. So if I was trying to score this card, for example, I would need to find a purple. Since I already have a female, I would just need to find a male over here to put with it, and then I could create this fish. That's kind of what you're doing. Now, there are some other fish like that you can generate through the game, such as this pearl. Pearl could be a wild card for anything. You can also generate additional boats, which would allow you to have access to other columns as you're going through. Or you can get a shark, which will allow you to take these out of here, or take cards away from your opponents and etc. So sharks will kind of do that as you're going through. The first person to get 5 babies will be the winner of the game. One other thing that's going to happen is at the end of the round, after you take your turn, these cards at the end will fall off, and then all of these will kind of move down as the water progresses. So it's a little bit of fiddly here-ness that you're going to have, but all of these will kind of move down, filling in any empty spaces that were there, and then you would be able to put out additional cards as the game progresses. So after everybody takes a turn, that will happen, and that's how you play.
Who should buy this game? This is a couple game, spouse game, right? 2-player game. Maybe you have a buddy that you play with all the time. Be right in that line. I think if more you like the fish theme, I think it'll work better. The components are not great. They're subpar at best. You kind of know that going in. But I think that everything else has a really good flow to it. It could be a really fun experience for people who just want a lighter game and not have to like rack the brain over everything. You're not going to have a lot of AP or downtime in this game either, and that's going to help out those that would enjoy this game. For us, it's a keeper barely, but it is a keeper for us.